subsidized oil companies for a century. That's long enough. It's time to end the taxpayer giveaways to an industry that rarely has been more profitable and double down on a clean energy industry that never has been more promising.
Those were the words of President Obama in his State of the Union address to Congress. It was a familiar theme.
That's why we've renewed our leadership within international climate change negotiations. That's why we've worked with other nations to phase out fossil fuel subsidies.
But his words were not lining up with his deeds. Just 3 days before that 2009 speech in Copenhagen, a little-known federal agency had awarded a $3 billion loan to a company that was soon to launch a massive liquefied natural gas project in Papua New Guinea. That agency was the Export-Import Bank of the United States. It was the largest loan the bank had ever issued, and it came with the backing of American taxpayers. As it turns out, it was also just the beginning of a $27 billion lending spree by the bank for fossil fuel projects around the world. In 2008, candidate Obama described the Exim Bank as
a little more than a fund for corporate welfare.
The company was Exonmobile, the oil giant responsible for 1/20th of all carbon emissions in the world. The company that made $45 billion in profit the previous year. That's $120 million a day, $5 million an hour, $85,000 a minute, $1,433 a second. But when he spoke to Congress on January 24th, 2012, was the president aware of what had happened earlier that day in the southern Pacific island of Papua New Guinea?
Local authorities are trying to reach a remote area devastated by a landslide, which has reportedly buried scores of people.
Exonmobile is offering earth-moving equipment to help locate people, but is denying the deadly rockfall is related to its operations in the area.
Exonmobile subcontractor MTJB been working at Fobla drill in here. One is out there. Na Narabla been up there. The Narabla been up that. That makes 3. The 4 long and all been drilled tableau. Then this slide been causing this landslide been come up.
Tanamidi Pagala, Tanamidi Porabia, Garawa, Tonatim Bidi.
Or not been passing hole. Now, or rabus now stone all got something to go down, all blocking water away, water big bla water, tubla river been run down here, Narabla water been blocking.
Oh, in our family, Kidia Yabu, a Jackson Media. Menda, oh, yonder, whatever yonder. Tavidia, Mana, oh, Yabu Video, Tani Yabu Mendo.
And then I'm still a ground been brook.
Ala Piana Autobili. Hombana, oh, Yamana, Onambidia. Tindiva, Harana. Tena, Tindivona. Oh, Borona Beno.
27 people were buried in that landslide in the remote village of Tumbi. None of the bodies were ever recovered, nor was there any effort to do so. Exxon had a different agenda. A critical road had been covered with debris. The project needed to stay on schedule. So the road was built directly above the bodies buried below. The PNG government, a financial partner in the venture, quickly absolved ExxonMobil, declaring the landslide had been caused by excessive rainfall, an act of God. But Exxon has secrets. Internal memos, investigative reports, and court documents all tell something different.
I talked to the director, and then I sent an email to everybody else because the operation said the quarries were risky, and the quarries should be, shut immediately.
Did you say that in the memo?
Yes, I thought that. quarry would collapse.
And why did they start demobilizing?
Because they received a report from the consultant that the mountain was going to come down.
You have here a very finely tuned, wonderfully rich, customary system of relationships that have developed over tens of thousands of years, and it becomes a delicate, fragile social environment. It works wonderfully well, but it is very delicate and fragile because it's so rich and complex. There's been a radical social experiment over the last 30 years, wherein the government, in collaboration with a number of resource operators, said, what would happen if we suddenly injected billions of dollars into these environments? The ones that have occurred to date have gone horribly wrong. Each experiment occurs, we discover that they cause unexpected and catastrophic consequences, but we're told each time this new experiment will be different.
Confusion, anger, fear, lawsuits, demonstrations, violence. The problems surrounding the LNG project keep adding up by the day. In Hela, tension is mounting.
The agreement on this land has been signed by somewhere else called in Mosby or Rabaul or whatever, we don't know.
The agreement was not held in Hela province.
The agreement is a lunacy and an insanity.
So they took the agreement out of our province, that's in Kokopo.
They choose about 10 to 15 people to sign this agreement, and we don't know what sort of agreement they signed.
To make sure they signed, some were offered state capital money. Some ministers made ministerial commitments.
The government failed us, they handpicked those who will agree to them. We lost everything.
If you don't sign, you don't get money. If you sign, then you get money. It's official bribery.
And then we were surprised that after signing an agreement in Kokopo, they just come in here and then with the equipment and other stuff and say, oh, this place has been paid up and we want to start a project.
Okay, awesome.
LNG project like no got one benefit from me block 30, Papa block something, gone and guess, well, all get the copa, all get that something no got wrong. Government no helping people good too.
No got many market, people don't know what the water supply, housing is bent down, people are airport no good.
No got one good school. Look at one good police station. You look in, people stop long.
Memang governor go Sierra Mosby, Peter only gives him money, he got developed another province. Now people are Tari Sabah, people are Hela Sabah now.
People money will give him go, will give him rich. Now all call him LNG ya, Hela now you miss Tabia. Now no got one development me blagis him. Okay, the money will talk again now pin him.
That's the issue, it needs to be addressed by the government, public and the developer. It's an American company. We are the custodian to the guest. In return, we must get something. Free education for our children, good roads and bridges, relocation for the people. You know, when the gas is gone, our place will be dried up. How will we be? This is not a win-win. I lose and you're winning.